Okay. Let's go. Yep. All right, folks. We are getting ready. I have my ashes. Yep. There we go, JR. Yep. All right, folks. We're going to be live in 4 minutes. 4 minutes. Let me check weather. Yeah, 56 degrees. Perfect, as a matter of fact. Now, it's going to rain, but not till after Road Patrol Live. So we're good to go. And I think we're good to go tomorrow night as well. So we are going to begin in just a moment. Folks, what a remarkable night last night. Yep. Absolutely incredible. 56 degrees right now. Excuse me, depending on where you are. Providence is 57. Whoa. Wait a minute. Yes. Thank you, JR. Yep. But it's a little windy. That is exactly right. How about that? What a State of the Union. Folks, so much to get to. And I'm so proud. Kate DePietro, what an amazing day at the White House. But I'll wait for her to post some of her photos. 57. Look at that. Yep. Yes, there's Bendy. Yep. All right. We are live in now 2 minutes. 2 minutes out. It's true. Yep. That is exactly right. I'm going to read that. Oh my God. Folks, we just don't have any leadership. We don't have anyone representing us in Washington, I should say. I don't think so. Remember, Ash Wednesday. Folks, this is what it's all about. The beginning of Lent. Yep. All right, we are live in 1 minute. Live in 1 minute. Yes. I'm bringing you up to speed on everything. And there's a lot of news today. Let me see what Mckee just put out. Oh, he reposted something. Okay. Okay. Yes. And we're live, folks. 106. Excuse me. On this Ash Wednesday. This is the real news. It's AM 1380, 99.9 FM. But wait, you can also listen online at our website, which is depetro.com. I see a comment. You have a speck on your forehead. Wrong. No, that is the comment of a heathen. That is the comment of a non-believer. Who sent that? Uncle Atheist? Wrong. That is not. You have a speck. No, wrong. It's Ash Wednesday, folks. So you don't have to adjust. I already saw one of the comments. Hey, what's going on? He looks like Pigpen. Excuse me. It's Ash Wednesday, and all believers and Catholics will have this as a matter of fact today. So no, it is not a matter of that. And folks, as we let me make sure that I'm sharing. Um, like I said, we're also live on X, we're live on Facebook, and we are live on YouTube, as a matter of fact. All of them. All of them at once? Yes. All of them at once, whether you like it or not. Ash Wednesday. Let me just finish posting this. Okay. And then, folks, as always, now remember, something that I should highlight, and that is the fact that if you ever miss the program, now the radio, if you log on to depetro.com, we have a big update going later today. You will then see where it says radio show. And if you ever miss anything, it's all right there in, as I like to say, library type of fashion. And then as far as the real news, you just go to, you can log on YouTube, or you can log on to our Facebook page or on X. And then, for instance, yesterday I thought he did a very good job. We had on the chairman of the Rhode Island Republican Party, Joe Powers. Listen, he is the chairman. The election is over. We had on his opponent, but he won. So that's who we're going to try to support. This portion of our program, folks, check out depetro.com, which is brought to you by the Coesit Inn, 226 Coesit Avenue, West Warwick. Lunch, dinner, drinks in the lounge. Excuse me. They're waiting for you. A delicious meal is waiting for you at the Coesit Inn. Now, last night, a lot of news came down last night. I am going to touch on, obviously, the State of the Union. I think last night, the Democrat Party now they showed themselves for what they are. It's adolescent antics. It's there's no leadership, and that filters down to our area. Whether it's because we have a lot of people that listen and watch in Massachusetts. Who's in Congress today? Who's in Washington is Boston Mayor Michelle Wu, and she's testifying, and I'll play some of that. How she runs Boston as a sanctuary city. And I will touch on President Trump, who I thought last night, that was not easy. He was getting heckled. I thought they were juvenile with the signs. But I hope that many of you are starting to get, or just recognize and get motivated. Folks, we have to have change in our area. And I'll just talk about Rhode Island. Last night, you had Senator Sheldon Whitehouse. You had Rhode Island Governor Dan Mckee. You had Lieutenant Governor Matos. You had Congressman Magaziner and Amo, all slamming the Trump administration. But they don't offer any plans. They don't offer anything concrete. I want to once again touch on, right now, the mayor of Boston, they have the mayors of high-profile cities, large cities, Denver, Boston, Chicago, New York. But make no mistake about it, the way Rhode Island is run is really no different than those particular cities. And I also want to reiterate again, and I'm going to keep doing it because the local media, they just don't pursue it. Somewhere tomorrow night, on a Thursday night, or tonight, whatever, someone who's 19 or 20 is going to walk into a liquor store and they're going to get up to the counter. And what is the person going to say? Do you have ID? Or what? Basically, it's like, are you 21? And what is that 19, 20-year-old who's got, a case of whatever, Sam Adams? What are they going to say? They're going to say, oh, yeah, I'm 21. And boom, they just move right along. It doesn't mean the person's 21. It just means when asked, that's what they said. So do you mean to tell me they're lying? Yes, that's exactly what I'm trying to tell you. So this whole business, and I recognize, again, the mayor of Boston, and Tom Holman's talking about, we're going to Boston. I'm bringing hell with me. Folks, Rhode Island mirrors Mass. Both states allow illegals to drive. Our laws are really no different than that. A difference is, or actually it's kind of the same, is both states media go along with the narrative, right? Last week, Governor McKee's on with Dan Janik on Channel 10. Governor, are we a sanctuary state? No. Okay, that's good enough for me. Well, that's ridiculous. Listen, he's always going to say that. Much like the 19, does the 19-year-old say, well, actually, I'm 19? No. Janik, well, that's good enough for me, and moves on. We are. The evidence is there. Matos did, lieutenant governor, who was chosen by him, did quote a town hall meeting, immigrants' rights, protecting immigrants' rights. Is there anyone that actually believes that they need to have a roundtable and this is geared towards people who have immigrated here? The answer is no. They're not stupid. The people that believe them are stupid. They purposely leave that out. They leave out the word illegal. Matos isn't going to put out, we're having a forum to give guidance on illegals. If they do that, they know I'm going to post it. And then therefore they just say immigrants. But it's a wink and a nod. It's a wink and a nod. And the people that are part of it, Progressive Latino and the other organization, they're all in on the same deal. What I agree again, or I want to reemphasize, I wish I had an answer. Our local media won't push them on it because they go along with it. Massachusetts allowed undocumented immigrants to apply for driver's licenses. Now that was last July. Rhode Island was already in motion on that. Governor McKee, what did he put on his in his campaign video? Rhode Island governor, there it is. McKee stands with Rhode Island immigrants. Folks, it's code. It's code for I'm going to protect you. He just doesn't want to draw too much attention to it. So the reason I mention that is because you're never going to have him say, yes, we are. Like, it's a waste of time. Look at organized crime in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Did any of them ever say, yes, I am a member of the mafia? Yes, I am a member of the... No, what do they say? No. What do you think the cartel members say? Yeah, I'm a member of the cartel. No, I'm not a member of any organization like that. They're in other words, they're never going to. All right, now I want to dip in right now. Thank you, Bendy, because I'm hearing that we have some fireworks in DC, and we certainly want to capture that, if that is the case, that Nancy Mace is in fact going after
everyone's safety.
This is Mayor Wu right now.
I would like to hold up this quote of you where
Congresswoman
you say,
Nancy
ICE's
Mace.
efforts actually threaten the safety of everyone, end quote. Boston Mayor Michelle Wu. You're a hypocrite. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I yield back.
Chair recognizes.
Hold on.
Agree with their dear leader.
I want to go into
Can
it.
I have unanimous consent
Superman,
request, Mr. Chairman?
Oh,
I'd
hold
like
on.
to seek unanimous consent to enter into the record this article.
Is a civil order.
Hold on, everybody.
March 2018.
Without objection, so ordered.
Data from Texas shows that U.S.-born
Without objection, so ordered. We've put it in the record.
Hold on. This is the
I have
hearing.
an internet.
You have what?
Mr. Chair, can I have several articles. I need to enter.
That's Presley of Mass.
Go ahead with what the articles are. What they speak to.
What's the next?
Or deported. And in fact, our governor had to create additional policy
This is the
to ensure that
hearing
kids are
on
not
Federal
left
Hill. On Capitol Hill, excuse me, on Federal Hill. On Capitol Hill. I
As
thought I
they
could
say,
catch
it's going to end.
More
We're not
rape.
going to put up with it.
This is
Chair
my procedural
Mr.
right as a
Superman,
member of this committee.
you
That's
can
Presley.
Go, you can go with Mr. Frost and Mr.
I'm
Green.
reclaiming my time.
That's
you
what
do
you
not
want.
get to
Ms. Presley,
how I recite the articles for the
accommodating
record.
to you. Mr. Superman,
And I take particular umbrage as a survivor of
No,
sexual violence.
Go.
I will enter
Order.
into the record. This is my right. Thank you.
No.
No.
It is Mr. Supernyam.
Sexual.
Mr.
Ah.
Chair,
What?
No, you know the process of unanimous consent. You are not
I have
recognized.
several articles.
This is
to
Presley
enter
from
into the record.
Massachusetts.
Mr. Supernyam, if you don't go, we're going to recognize Mr. Timmons.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to bring up a bill that's going to be before the floor.
Clearly a
HR
Democrat.
32, a bill that would basically take away federal grants that the administration thinks you are a, quote, sanctuary city, which, by the way,
Good.
isn't even very well defined. I'm not even sure from reading the bill whether your cities are even sanctuary.
You know, I want to go back. I will find it, folks. I want to play. I'm so glad that they're giving them a hard time because they should get a hard time. So let me. I want to find where they're. I know that there's. This is Boston Mayor Michelle Wu, I think, going after Tom Homan.
Bring hell. He was bringing hell to the city
Who's
of
that?
Boston.
Ranking
What did
Member
you understand
Conley.
him to mean by that?
Let's talk about Tom Homan.
This is Michelle Wu, Mayor
Shame
of
on
Boston.
him for lying about my city, for having the nerve to insult our police commissioner who has overseen the safest Boston's been in anyone's lifetime. Bring him here under oath and let's ask him some questions. I am here to make sure that the city of Boston is safe.
All right. I have no interest in hearing that. Let me get to here we go. I think this should be live. Folks, we'll stay on track. We'll stay on track. We knew it was going to be fiery. They want to continue that narrative. And it's good that they be challenged that way. And I want to remind you again that Rhode Island, no matter what they tell you, we're not that different than Massachusetts. Do you think Mckee would be able to stand up to some of this stuff? Do you think he'd be able to answer these questions? Today, all the focus is going to be on the mayor of Boston. I want to just remind you that our local media doesn't pursue the fact that our policies really are not different than Massachusetts. Folks, this portion of our program is brought to you by Propane Plus. Call them today in Rhode Island, 401-885-4209. In Massachusetts, 508-252-3359. Propane Plus for all your heating and cooling needs. Remember, you can always log on, residential or commercial. You can depend on Propane Plus. You just type in your zip code. It's propaneplus.com. Call them 401-885-4209 or in Massachusetts, 508-252-3359 for Propane Plus. All right, I want to find, let me find where we have where they are, because we want to back it up just a little bit. There it is. I think that's Nancy Mace. I think I have it of her turn. Here it is. I believe this should.
Okay, Mayor. Yes or no?
They should be deported.
Okay, Mayor.
Any individual that
Yes or no?
causes harm
Yes or
and
no?
breaks
Okay,
the
Mayor
law.
Wu.
Let's go back. I want to start
Mayor
with
Wu, do you have a
Nancy Mace.
law? Yes or no? Into our.
Here we go.
I'm going to ask a series today are actively his base down if he doesn't carry out.
Okay.
Thank you.
Chair recognizes Ms. Mace from South Carolina.
Here we go.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. All of the mayors here today are actively working to harm the American people
Yep.
you represent. You all have blood on your hands.
Oh,
I'm going to ask a series of yes or no questions today, and I would like to remind all of you, you are under oath. I only want a yes or no to my questions. My first question, do you acknowledge breaking into our country is a crime? Mayor Adams, yes or no? Do you acknowledge breaking into our country is a crime?
I acknowledge.
Yes or no?
I acknowledge.
Okay, Honorable Johnson, he's not going to answer the question. Yes or no? Is breaking into our country against the law? Yes or no?
Depends how you cross the border.
Okay,
Some folks
Mayor
have
Johnson,
status.
yes or no?
Comprehensive immigration
that's not an
reform
answer.
policies
Mayor
are what's
Wu?
necessary. in this
Mayor Wu,
moment.
do you have a better answer than these gentlemen before you? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, do you believe it's acceptable for illegals who commit heinous crimes be released back into the public instead of being detained and deported? Mayor Adams, yes or no?
Anyone break a crime.
Yes or no? This is not hard. Yes or
he
no?
can't answer
Anyone
a
that breaks a
question.
crime should be detained.
Okay, Mayor, yes or no?
They should be deported.
Okay, Mayor.
Any individual that
Yes or no?
causes harm
Yes or
and
no?
breaks
Okay,
the
Mayor
law
Wu.
should be held accountable.
This is why you have 6% approval rating, because you suck at answering questions. Mayor Wu.
How?
Yes or no?
Anyone who's a public safety threat should be prosecuted.
All right, I have my next question. When an illegal alien rapes a woman, do you believe you're on the right side of history? Mayor Adams, yes or no?
Can we say that question again?
Okay,
Oh
Mayor
my God.
Johnson.
He can't answer
When an
anything.
illegal alien rapes a woman, do you believe you're on the right side of history? Yes or no?
I will charge and prosecute them.
Yes or no? Okay, well, okay. You said you would go to jail, didn't you?
I will
For
charge
harboring
and
illegal
prosecute them.
aliens or something, Mayor Johnson?
Could you repeat your question, please?
When an illegal alien rapes a woman, do you believe you're on the right
This
side
is the
of
mayor of
history?
Chicago.
Could you clarify that question?
Okay, Mayor Wu, yes or no?
No, rape is obviously
Then
horrible.
why are you letting rapists back out onto the streets of Boston?
That is not true. That is
Okay.
not what's happening in
When an
Boston.
illegal alien molests a kid, molests an underage kid, do you pat yourself on the back for being compassionate? Mayor Adams?
It's despicable. He should be arrested.
Mayor Johnson?
I
Yes or
prosecute
no?
folks that commit crimes like that.
You guys let them out on the streets. Mayor Johnson?
We arrest violent criminals in the city.
Chicago.
Mayor Wu?
We investigate, arrest, and prosecute.
You guys don't sound very confident today.
This is Rep. Nancy
Would
Mace.
your city honor an ICE detainer on an illegal alien who rapes kids if one was issued today?
Now, I want you to listen to this answer, because in Rhode Island, under Governor Mckee, this is so important. If you pay attention to anything I say this afternoon, it's this. And the local media is lazy and compliant. In 2014, Chafee, through executive order, changed the policy. Gina kept it the same. Mckee keeps it the same. Mckee says, oh no, they have to get a court-ordered detainer. Other states don't do that. So she's on the right path. Boy, I'd love to see her, Nancy Mace, get to question Rhode Island Governor Dan Mckee, Congressman Gabe Amo, Lieutenant Governor Matos, and Magaziner. Let's hear how they answer. I think we already know.
Mayor Adams? Yes,
Let me hear the question again.
Would your city honor an ICE detainer on an illegal alien who rapes kids if one was issued to?
Just so you know, in Rhode Island, they won't honor the detainer. I want to repeat this. Dan Jadick of Channel 10 dropped the ball. McKee's allowed to go on the radio down the dial and lie because they won't ask him this specific question. They're enablers, folks. They're enablers. Let's hear how they answer.
Mayor Adams? Yes or no?
In conformance with law, we will honor
Ah.
detainers.
You don't.
Mayor Johnson?
If there's a criminal warrant, we'll help them pick them up. If there's no criminal warrant,
They're
we'll honor a
lies.
notification request.
Mayor Johnson?
Criminal warrants, we always cooperate with federal agents with a criminal warrant.
Mayor Wu?
Get a criminal warrant, we will enforce.
A criminal warrant. I'm talking about an ICE detainer
ICE detainer.
on an individual who's here illegal who rapes kids. Do you all hate Donald Trump more than you love your country, Mayor Adams?
I respect my president. I respect my
Yes or no? You're
It's the
having a
mayor
hardest
of New
time
York.
today. Mayor Johnston?
I love my country.
Yes or no?
I love my
Okay.
country.
Mayor Johnson?
Mayor of Chicago.
As the son of a pastor,
Oh,
I love everyone
God.
and this country.
Mayor Wu?
I love my country and my city.
Do you all, are you all willing to go to jail for violating federal law, Mayor Adams?
I'm not going to violate federal law, so I don't have to worry about that.
Mayor Johnston?
We don't violate federal law either.
He's
You
the
don't
mayor
violate
of
federal
Denver.
law.
We do not violate federal
Is it
law.
violating federal law if you don't honor detainer requests from ICE?
Absolutely not. In fact, the statute Congressman Biggs shared, we explicitly follow.
Lies.
The statute says you
Lies.
cannot prohibit city employees from sharing information about someone's status with the government. We do not prohibit that.
Lies.
Do you love illegal aliens more than you love your fellow countrymen?
I love all the residents of the city county.
Mayor Johnston, are you willing to go to jail for violating federal law?
The city of Chicago complies with all laws.
Oh, they
Oh,
don't.
I highly doubt that. Mayor Wu?
We are not violating federal law.
Mayor Wu, I have a last couple questions for you.
Good.
Do you believe that ICE arresting a child rapist, quote, threatens everyone's safety, end quote? Yes or no?
No.
Does ICE arresting a murderous MS-13 gang member threaten everyone's safety? Yes or no?
No.
I would like to hold up this quote of you where you say ICE's efforts actually threaten the safety of everyone, end quote. Boston Mayor Michelle Wu. You're a hypocrite. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I yield back.
Chair recognize it.
This is where
Mr.
Presley jumps in.
Mr. Chairman, have unanimous consent
This
request.
is Rep. Presley of
Proceed.
Mass.
I'd like to seek unanimous consent to enter into the record this article, and I'll do this as a survivor of sexual violence myself. This is for
Why does that come into play when we're talking about illegals? Do you understand? This is all this woman says. Every sentence begins with that.
March 2018.
Without objection, so ordered.
Nothing to do with what they're talking about.
Without objection, so ordered. We've put it in the record.
I haven't entered it.
You have what?
Mr. Chair, can I have several articles. I need to enter them.
Listening to
Let me just
this?
Go ahead with what the articles are.
What's the next article?
Let me proceed. Data from Texas shows
No,
that U.S. born Americans
we're not listening to
commit
this.
more rapes and murder than
What is
immigrants.
with you?
This trend of you all trying to get thrown out of committee so you can get on MSNBC is going to end. We're not going to put up with it.
This is
Chair
my
recognizes
procedural
Mr.
right as a
Silverman-Yum.
member of this committee.
You can
to
go.
enter
You can
documents
go with
into the
Mr.
record.
Frost and Mr.
I'm
Green.
reclaiming my time.
That's what
do
you
not
want.
get to
Ms. Presley,
how
I've been
I recite the
I have
articles
been
for
very
the record.
accommodating
How?
to you. Mr. Silverman-Yum,
And I
start
take
the clock.
particular umbrage as a survivor of
Go,
sexual violence.
Go.
I will enter
Order.
into the record. This is my right.
What?
Thank you.
No.
Wrong.
It is Mr. Silverman-Yum.
Mr.
Huh.
Chair,
No, you know the process of unanimous consent.
People,
You are not
I have
recognized.
several articles to enter into the record.
you're not going
Mr.
to.
Silverman-Yum, if you don't go, we're going to recognize Mr. Timmons.
Good.
Thank you, Mr.
What
Chair.
a disaster she is.
Administration thinks she may have been.
Wow. That's how it's going on Capitol Hill.
Constituents deserve those resources, not the people that enter this country illegally. With that, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Chair recognizes Ms. Ansari from Arizona.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. President Trump has talked a big game about how he.
All right, we'll come back to that. I still want to stay on. Sorry, folks, but it's happening in real time. Thank you to Bendy for pointing that out. Folks, this portion of our program is brought to you by Kids Club. Now, remember, Kids Club on the Pike. Contact them for birthday parties, before and after school programs, preschool programs. Kids Club on the Pike. It's available for private rental of the entire facility, whether it's for a team gathering or a birthday party, before and after school care, providing transportation before and after care for school-age children ages 5 through 12. Now, they also have half and full day programs for preschool children ages 3 through 5. Kids Club on the Pike. Where are they located? Glad you asked that. Right off 295 on the Cranston-Johnson line. You can call them at 401-443-5336. It's Kids Club on the Pike. And this portion of our program, folks, is brought to you by, remember, Modern Mechanical. So you want to make sure your heating system is working, and cooling system, by the way, as effectively as possible. So with Modern Mechanical, they can do central air conditioning installation, repair, and maintenance. Modern Mechanical, they can do ductless air conditioning installation. They can do ductless air conditioning repair and maintenance. They can do boiler repair and maintenance, furnace repair and maintenance, heater repair and maintenance. Modern Mechanical, call them today. If you're listening or watching right now and you've had problems with anything that I've mentioned, call Richard at Modern Mechanical. Get a free estimate, 401-441-5442, 401-441-5442 for Modern Mechanical. Let me say this about last night. Folks, like many of you, if you watch the State of the Union, it was embarrassing. We need new representation in Washington. If you're a member, like to me at this point, no normal guy would say, right now, if a male says, I'm a Democrat, to me, that's like a punchline. They're a joke. They were embarrassing last night. They were rude. They were disrespectful. They are petulant children. They're like adolescents. They are like spoiled teens that don't know how to behave. There's no control in the Democrat Party right now. They don't have a message. I just want to remind you again, Rhode Island Governor Dan Mckee stands with Maine on this whole transgender sports thing. Folks, we need people that are going to speak up. And I was glad to have Chairman Powers on yesterday because the Rhode Island Republican Party and the Massachusetts Republican Party, but they really need to find their voice. What you saw last night, that was embarrassing with their stupid little signs, and they're wearing pink, and then some of them are walking out. These are not serious people. And I can't emphasize enough to you that people that are supporting this, people need to get engaged. People need to get involved. President Trump is laying out a vision to transform the United States to the superpower that we deserve, and we're being held back by these failed progressive policies. You know, Speaker Sakachi, House Speaker Joe Sakachi, did a roadmap live. Excuse me, last night with Dan McGowan of the Boston Globe. And one of the things he said was that if federal spending is cut, Rhode Island's going to have some difficult decisions to make. You know, they don't even realize there is going to be a cut in spending. They're not leaders. They're reactionary. The amount of spending, this business of running a welfare state, it's coming to an end. And Gabe Amo, the failed congressman in the 1st district, Seth Magaziner, the embattled congressman in the 2nd district, to me, it like begins and ends with Mckee. They are following his failed leadership, this model where they just grab your money and the high taxes with poor service. That highway was closed for 3 hours yesterday on 195. And there's no bridge money coming. Now, I'm going to get to this. This broke last night. Governor Mckee, who blew off the inauguration, is now scrambling. Can you imagine? He's saying to the administration, he's saying to the transportation secretary, well, I'm running for re-election, so you need to give me the bridge money. Folks, the Trump people have been very clear. There is a federal probe to why the Washington Bridge is closed. There's an FBI investigation. What happened to the $4 billion? Remember, not one person at DOT has been terminated. Not one person at Rhode Island DOT has been fired. No one's been demoted. No one's been suspended. How is that possible? Mckee, they still act like it was an act of God that couldn't be prevented, that closed the bridge. The transportation secretary, the Trump administration, I want you to understand, they're very clear with this crowd. Until we figure out where all the money went, we're not giving you any money. There's an active investigation. Governor Mckee, we want $500 million. I speak for the people of Rhode Island. We reject. You're wrong. The only reason he's running for re-election is because he feels he can manipulate the mail ballots. That's it. Does he have the right programs? No. Is he up to the job? Obviously not. I repeat, the only reason he's running for re-election is because they feel they can steal the election by manipulating mail ballots. The Rhode Island, the Republicans at the Rhode Island State House should talk about that nonstop. The local media should talk about that nonstop. We have to shut off this early voting and this unlimited ballot harvesting that they do. The Rhode Island Republican Party in the past would say, we're going to ballot harvest too. That's a failed strategy. The strategy should be to end it. get in line with Massachusetts and Connecticut. Until we have fair elections, our government is not going to be, we don't have legitimate elections. And let me be very clear, it has nothing to do with Trump. Until that is changed, like that should tell you a lot. The only reason Mckee is running for re-election is because he's confident that the unions, organized labor, disorganized labor, that they can manipulate the mail ballots. And the reason he believes that is because they did that for the September primary of 2022, almost 3 years ago. Folks, this portion of our program is brought to you by Watson Materials. Call them today, 401-885-0600. Request a quote, 401-885-0600. Watson Materials. They offer the most complete selection of landscape materials in Rhode Island. Landscape lighting, pavers, retaining walls, natural stone, cobblestone. Look for them on Facebook. It's Watson Materials, 401-885-0600. So where is Governor Mckee now? Well, it came out last night that he has now sent a letter to the Transportation Secretary, Sean Duffy, who, in essence, by the way, I was the one that broke the story. Sean Duffy was in Newport in September. And the reason I know that is because his wife announced it on Fox and Friends, and his wife clearly mentioned that the person that encouraged them to spend some time in Newport was none other than Kate DiPietro. Someone told me the Cackle was trying to jump on that. Yeah, a week late, the plagiarists in full form. But the fact of the matter is, Governor Mckee sending a letter. The local media should constantly put Rhode Island Governor Dan Mckee, who blew off the inauguration, because that's what he did. He should have been in D.C. Why didn't Rhode Island Governor Dan Mckee? Why didn't he go to the Trump inauguration to try to pacify the progressives? What did he do instead of going to the inauguration? He went to a Black Lives Matter breakfast at Rhodes on the Patuxent. For Governor Mckee to say to the Transportation Secretary, well, I need the money. We need the bridge money because I'm running for re-election. That's not a reason. Governor Mckee sent this letter requesting the bridge agreements. And you know how much he's looking for? Close to $500 million. He can beg all he wants. Begging Sean Duffy, release the $500 million. Folks, the Trump people have been very clear. We're not giving you the money until the FBI investigation is over. What part of that don't you understand? We're not going to release the money. And let me ask you this at 1:40 on this Wednesday. Mckee threatens Trump to release $470 million for the Washington Bridge. Where does he get off threatening the Trump administration? I think their request is clear. There's millions of dollars missing. The Trump administration has said, until we get an accounting of the missing money, we're not giving you any money. What did Mckee do? He's been refusing to hand over the documents to the Department of Justice and to specifically the U.S. Attorney's Office. Now, keep in mind, the U.S. Attorney right now, we're in limbo right now because the old one just resigned, which always happens. It always happens with administrations. The Attorney General who was there, Zach Kuna, who I actually enjoyed, I think, a decent relationship with, he was appointed to serve through the Biden administration. Right now, we're waiting for the new U.S. attorney that will serve at the pleasure of the Trump administration. So Mckee is saying, we demand you release the $470 million. Now, a couple things have to happen. Number one, you have an FBI probe going. Number two, there could be charges coming out of this. Notice Governor Mckee doesn't talk about that. The Washington Bridge is under federal investigation. Folks, I'm going to tell you right now, And I was speaking with someone kind of, within, connected to the administration, friend of the administration. And I was telling them, this person, about the situation with the bridge. And I said, listen, if we want to be realistic, all right, this is Rhode Island we're talking about. Do I think Mckee and his cronies most likely stole millions? 100%. There's no doubt in my mind. There's millions missing. Millions missing. Payoffs. Do I think people got paid to look the other way? 100%. There's no question in my mind. Between Ruggiero and the laborers and Mckee, absolutely. Money was stolen. That said, my sympathy is with the people that have to use that bridge every day. As a resident of the state, the bridge needs to be repaired. I think the bridge should be repaired, but I think the government, meaning the federal government, should have oversee over it. You can't trust Governor Mckee to oversee this project. So my response was, yes, I think they should continue the federal investigation. By the way, I believe there will be indictments with the investigation under the Washington Bridge. I want to repeat that. There's a reason why the lead attorney left, who initially was going to be part of the effort to try to sue companies and get money for the bridge. There's a reason why the lead attorney on the case, Max Whitstow, there's a reason why they resigned the case. Is because Mckee was trying to stop them from really digging into the documents. So I want to repeat, do I believe that the laborers, and by the way, this could go back to Raimondo. It 100% could go back to Raimondo. Their attitude was to just turn the other way, look the other way. So do I think that there's money missing? I know there is. Is there a lot of money? There's millions missing. But my response is, I think it should be two-pronged. I think the FBI should continue investigating. I think there's going to be people end up getting indicted. I think there's going to be people in cuffs. I think there's going to be people brought up on charges. I think it's going to be deep. And you could even go to Igliosi at DOT. So now, listen, I know Peter Alviti. I like Peter. I respect Peter. I think Peter's along for the ride. I think Peter has been told by Mckee and others, just look the other way. So, but make no mistake about it. The millions poured. I mean, think about it, folks. Does it make any sense that Mckee allowed them? They closed the bridge. They submitted a bill for $60 million. And then they knocked down all the work that they had been doing. Does that make logical sense to anybody? I mean, I don't think I'm going out on a limb. It's safe to say that millions have found their way into various pockets of people. So I believe the FBI should investigate that. And at the same time, I think the Department of Transportation, they need to appoint, first of all, you need the new U.S. attorney in place to investigate Mckee and Ruggiero and the laborers and all these no-bid contracts and the millions that are missing and the sham that's been going on. And they need to oversee the project. In other words, I think the Washington Bridge project, and this is what I think is going on. I think, and I don't blame them, by the way. I believe they're not comfortable with, would you trust Rhode Island Governor Dan Mckee at this point? I mean, basically, he's a pathological liar. I can understand why the federal government doesn't trust him, and they don't trust him. Do I think he's going to end up getting indicted with the bridge investigation? I do. Do I think he was told to look the other way and allowed people to steal millions? I do. And that will come out with the FBI investigation. So I think, and that's why Mckee was hiding all the records from the Department of Justice. So to answer the question, and this is an important question, and it's a question that I think more people should be asking, and that is, do I think Governor Mckee is going to face criminal charges regarding the Washington Bridge? The answer is yes. But despite that, we still need the bridge rebuilt. I think the federal government should appoint someone to come in and basically oversee the project. That's what I think should happen. So they can continue their investigation into there's millions missing. Continue that. I think they should raid. I think they should raid DOT. I think they should raid the governor's office. Someone asked me also, do I think Mckee should get immunity so he could testify? I don't know enough about it yet. I mean, I don't know. I'm not big on just the blanket immunity. But without question, people are going to go to jail for a long time regarding the Washington Bridge. All signs point to that. So Governor Mckee fires off a letter, and he's talking tough, We're demanding our $500 million. He's not in a position to demand anything, let alone Peter Alviti, I believe, went on Channel 12, or I think he went on Channel 12, or when he testified, that ridiculous hearing they had, and he said, oh, we have the money that we could do the bridge without the federal money. So what does that tell you? Where's that money hidden? How much? Here's my question, folks. How much money do they have hidden? This portion of the program is brought to you by Quality Asphalt Seal Coating. Call Corey today, 401-283-9815. 401-283-9815. Quality Asphalt Seal Coating. They seal coat driveways and parking lots. They offer crack filling, pothole repair, line striping. They can make your pavement look like new. So whether it's your driveway or your parking lot or a sports court, maybe it's a pickleball court or a tennis court or a basketball court. They also epoxy garages and patios, decorative concrete flooring. Contact Corey today. Free quote. If you're listening right now on this Ash Wednesday, and maybe you need some of this done, call them for a free estimate. Quality Asphalt Seal Coating, 401-283-9815. I share their Facebook page. Of course, Governor Mckee is freaking out that they're not responding. He should have gone to Washington. He should have gone to the inauguration. He didn't go to the inauguration. He refused. That's embarrassing. I seem to be the only one bringing it up. He had a responsibility to the voters to go and represent Rhode Island at the Trump inauguration. And folks, I also want to point out, when he says, we refuse to work with the Trump administration, he doesn't have the right to do that. Rhode Island Governor Dan Mckee, he doesn't have the right to say that. He invokes your name too much. He invokes my name too much. I also don't hear anyone mentioning the fact that it came out that 70% of Central Falls, 70% are all illegals. And we're paying for the school system there. Why are you paying for that? Why are we paying for that? It came out yesterday in a story that local businesses are dead in Central Falls because people are afraid to shop. They're afraid to leave their apartments. They're afraid to leave their homes because they're afraid ICE is going to come and grab them. That's interesting. 70%. So Central Falls has a population of 22,000. Now, 50% of 22,000, quick math, would be 11,000. 70%. That means of 22,000 people living in Central Falls, about 16,000 are illegals. And there's more in Providence. I was talking to Tommy, actually. And I gave the number, and he's like, wow, that sounds really high. I said, not when you look at how many are in Central Falls, about 16,000 conservatively. How many are in Pawtucket? If Central Falls has 16, I got to think Pawtucket's good for at least to match that, because the Pawtucket population of Pawtucket it's pretty high. So I think you could say match them. So we're probably at about 35. There's 40 at least in Providence. Providence has a population of 200,000. At least 25% are illegals. So that's actually 50,000. So then you have Woonsocket, Newport, West Warwick. So folks, the number of illegals in Rhode Island is actually closer to 10% of the population, which is why Mckee and Company, that's why they put out statements saying we're going to protect the immigrant community. But this business of the governor of Rhode Island sending a letter, oh yeah, I bet they're shaking in their boots right now. Here's the letter. Biden promised us $500 million for the bridge. You and Trump need to realize we, the people of Rhode Island, are demanding this money, or you will not be getting any votes or support from Rhode Island. Yet he sent it March 4th, the Honorable Sean Duffy, Secretary, U.S. Department of Transportation. We are demanding our $500 million for the bridge. The people of Rhode Island are very leery of the Trump chaotic administration. Folks, what do you think Elon Musk and Doge would find if they came and looked at the Rhode Island budget, or even the Rhode Island DOT budget? What do you think they would find there? Do you think they'd say, well, it appears everything to be in order? I at 153, I want to be very clear. I actually can't believe what we witnessed last night with the State of the Union. And anyone that is a Democrat right now, you need your head examined. Those people they're unlikable. They're children. They're adolescents. It's immature, boorish behavior. No one wants to listen to them. Getting up, walking out, screaming, standing out. What? But every time I ask who would be part of that, we know the answer. Governor Mckee, Sabina Matos, Sheldon Whitehouse, Congressman Amo, and Magaziner. They're all part of that. Elizabeth Warren. I love how President Trump called her Pocahontas. That Presley and Mass, AOC. They're juveniles. They're childish. They're immature. They're rude. They have no class. The Democrat Party is broken. The Democrat Party that was JFK into the Clinton era, into Obama, that party is over. The Democrat Party of 2025 is nothing short of an embarrassment. They're so rude and classless. They have no element of decorum. They're just incorrigible. They're irredeemable is what they are. Magaziner, Congressman Seth Magaziner and Congressman Amo, you just can't find two useless individuals than those two. The only two more useless than those two are probably Rhode Island Governor Dan Mckee and Matos. And you can stretch it into Massachusetts. Senator Elizabeth Warren, Markey still pushing for the Green New Deal, Governor Healy. Do you know Massachusetts so far this year has spent $500 million on putting up illegals at these hotels? There's something wrong with these people. There's something wrong with Mayor Wu. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the family of the man that came waving in with a knife and was stopped by the off-duty Boston police officer. Do you understand that it's like the progressives at the State House? Sanchez, Mack, Sam Bell, Tansey, Caldwell, that Senator Bridget Valadair. Do you understand there's something wrong with these people? They're not normal. And the people that stand up, I'm a proud Democrat. Like I said, no normal male would say that. What you saw last night was people trying to move the country back to greatness and those that are trying to hold us back. I think that's what was on display last night. Folks, this portion of the program, and it's brought to you by Arch Design Builders. Now remember, they specialize in residential design, but they could handle any type of special project. Call Arch Design Builders today at 401-207-4124. 401-207-4124. Arch Design Builders. It all starts with that meeting with Ed and Roxanne. Maybe it's about your kitchen. Maybe it's about your bathroom. Maybe it's about your basement or deck or a special project. Arch Design Builders. You're going to notice the arch difference. But it all starts with the phone call. It all starts with meeting with Ed and Roxanne. And let's just dream. Free consultation. Show them the space. This is the kitchen. This is the bathroom. This is the family room we'd like redone. Or this is the office we'd like remodeled. Arch Design Builders. They have a phenomenal social media presence. Call them 401-218-9707. It's Arch Design Builders. Well, folks, at 1:58, yes, we're going to be doing Road Patrol Live later. I want to, once again, last night, I'll also just finish on this. I want to remind you, Congressman Magaziner and Gabe Amo, they did not stand up for that little boy. That little boy who was given 5 months to live, dying of brain cancer, who was being celebrated by the President of the United States and sworn in as a Secret Service agent. That little DJ, and Gabe Amo was yawning and was doing thumbs down. There's video of that. And Seth Magaziner, thumbs down. So I want to just be finished on this. It's very clear. There's something wrong with these people. This is no longer about policy differences. When you have a little boy like that, and he's being honored in that manner, that was a tear-jerking moment. That was a great night for the nation last night. And Sheldon Whitehouse on his phone. Magaziner and Amo doing the thumbs down. They're children. They don't belong in office. If you listen to the radio, stay tuned for the 2 o'clock news. Everybody else, we will be out. Road Patrol Live later. In the meantime, remember to get your ashes. Beginning of Lent on this Ash Wednesday.